Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai. 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 Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for joining us today for the Sunday Feast program. Before we get started, I want to fall at the lotus feet of each one of you to take your blessings so that whatever I speak today will be beneficial to you, to all of you. If there is anything wrong, any mistake, it is due to my ignorance, lack of proper understanding and application of the Shastric principles. But if there is anything good, all credits go to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The first step he took in Boston, after landing in Boston, that is a giant leap to the humankind. The first leap Srila Prabhupada took in Boston. I also want to express my gratitude to my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami. My gratitude to His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, His Grace Amarendra Prabhu, His Grace Gaur Gopal Prabhu, and so many other Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis whose classes I have listened several times to put together this presentation today. So the topic for today is called the rope. After I gave my last class, which was several months back, I was thinking, what would be a good topic for the next class? I was remembering the various pastimes involving rope in the scriptures and so many examples. So I thought it will be useful to share some thoughts on this topic called rope. Shastra say Krishna Tulya Bhagavat. Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. When Krishna appeared among the fishes, he came as Matsya. When Krishna appeared as a reptile amongst the reptiles, he came as tortoise. On the calendar, Krishna appears as On the calendar, Ekadasi. Krishna comes as Ekadasi. As a syllable, he comes as the holy name. For Prahlad Maharaj, he appeared in the pillar. For Prahlad Maharaj, he appeared in the pillar. Similarly, Krishna is in the rope. The rope that is used to pull the chariot of Jagannath, Lord Jagannath. We did the Rath Yatra a few days back, pulling Krishna into our hearts. Krishna is in that rope. The rope that Mother Yashoda used to bind Krishna, Krishna is in that rope. The ropes of material nature, Krishna is the only one who can pull us out of the well of the material nature by giving the rope of devotional service. So today we are going to speak about the rope. The whole class is going to be based on the rope theme. I'm going to talk about 3 C's. The first C is conditioning. How we are conditioned by the ropes of material nature. How we are bound by it. The second C is, anybody can guess? Second C, how we can get out of the ropes of material nature. Chanting is good. Faith. Faith is conviction. That is the first step. By taking the first step, faith, what do we attract? The third C. C for compassion. Compassion of the Supreme Lord. Compassion of the Supreme Lord. So I want to start off with a story which some of you may be aware of. This is a true story. It was in 2006 in Kerala, in a place called Ernakulam. A group of 11 friends, they wanted to go on a vacation. So they chose this place, hill station in Tamil Nadu called Kodaikanal. So they decided to go to Kodaikanal. So they go there. They are so captivated by the beautiful nature, the scenic beauty of Kodaikanal. Being young adults, you want to venture out when you are young. So they decided to step into the restricted area. So the place they were was called as Devil's Kitchen. Later it came to be known as Guna Caves. Because there was a movie called Guna that was shot in that location, so it came to be known as Guna Caves. So they were enjoying the natural beauty of the Guna Caves. So they were going into the restricted area. As they were seeing everything and taking pictures, one person in the friends group by the name Shubhas, he accidentally falls into a hole in that place. Initially, the friends thought he was just playing a prank, only to realize later that this was serious. He had fallen into a 120 feet deep hole. So they didn't know what to do. They were running frantically for help. Who can help? They were running to the nearby stores, asking for help. There everybody was saying, no, he's gone. You must be fools to go to that restricted area. Who asked you to go there? Nobody has come alive from that place. You should forget your friend and go home. So they ran to the police station nearby, the forest department. Everybody was reluctant to come and help. Finally, one boy in that group, Sashi, he decides, I'm not leaving this place without Shubhas. I want to save him. So he asks him to bring a long rope. And he ties it to his body and then asks him to lower the rope. So he goes down 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. Oxygen levels were becoming low. He was struggling to breathe. But he says, I'm faintly hearing Subhash's voice, so I'm going to go deep further. So at around 60 feet, he sees his friend lying there, covered by mud and blood. So he ties his friend also to his body with a rope, and then they pull him out. So this is a true story that happened. This depicts the essence of true friendship and courage. This, of course, came as the movie Manjumal Boys. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but this was a true story. So, if an ordinary friend in this age of Kali Yuga, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, can do that, think about Krishna, the Supreme Lord, who is our eternal friend, Suhradam Sarva Bhutanam. He is the loving friend eternally of all living entities. Mamai Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We belong to Krishna more than we belong to anybody. He loves us more than we love ourselves. In this world, the symbol of love is our parents. But next birth, are we going to have the same parents? No. Previous birth, did we have the same parents? And what about the soul moving from one womb to the next womb? Who was taking care of us in between? Krishna, the Supreme Lord. So only He can pull us out of the hole of material nature. So like I said, today we are going to see 3 C's: condition, conviction, and compassion. With that, we'll get started. The verse we are going to cover today is from the chapter 16, verse 12. I'm going to read, and please repeat after me. Asha pasha shatair baddaha, Asha pasha shatair baddaha, Kama krodha prayanaha, Kama krodha parayanaha, Ihante kama bhogartham, Ihante kama bhogartham, Anyayenartha sanchayan, Asha pasha shatair baddaha, Kama krodha parayanaha, Ihante kama bhogartham, Anyayenartha sanchayan. Anybody would like to read? We'll have one from the youth, and then one from Mataji's, and one from Prabhuji's. Asha pasha shatair badda, Kama krodha parayana, Ihante kama bhogartham, Anyayenartha sanchayan. Mataji's. Asha pasha shatair baddaha, Kama krodha parayana, Ihante kama bhogartham, Anyayenartha sanchayan. Asha pasha shatair badda, Kama krodha parayana, Ihante kama bhogartham, Anyayenartha sanchayan. Thank you very much. Anybody would like to read the translation?
Bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secured money by illegal means for sense gratification.
This translation and the following purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
foolish people do not know that a physician cannot prolong life, even for a moment.
Yeah, let's continue.
When,
Just go ahead, Mataji.
when the notice is there is no consideration of the man's desire. The laws of nature do not allow a second beyond what one is destined to enjoy. The demoniac person who has no faith in God or the super soul within himself performs all kinds of sinful activities simply for sense gratification. He does not know that there is a witness sitting within his heart. The super soul is observing the activities of the individual soul. As it is stated in the Upanishads, there are two birds sitting in one tree. One is acting and enjoying or suffering the fruits of the branches, and the other is witnessing. But one who is demoniac has no knowledge of Vedic scripture, nor has he any faith. Therefore, he feels free to do anything for sense enjoyment, regardless of the consequences.
Thank you, Mataji. So, reading the translation one more time. Bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. So, as per the Vedic culture, there are 4 Purusha Arthas. Does anybody know? Sorry. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Dharma, Artha and Kama and Moksha. Dharma is righteousness. Artha is wealth. Kama is desires. And Moksha is liberation. So, the Vedic culture is very nicely laid out so that we can start with Dharma, lay a proper foundation in our life, and then following the dharmic principles, fulfill our desires, earn money for the family, and then finally we attain moksha. We follow religious or dharmic principles, God-conscious principles, and finally attain moksha. But in this day and age, dharma and moksha are taken off the list. The focus is only on artha and kama. Artha and kama, desires and wealth. Krishna says in the Gita, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya pahrita chetasam vivasayatmika buddhi samadhavna vidhiyate. So one who is after bhoga and aishwarya, aishwarya is wealth, bhoga is sense gratification or kama. For them, the steadfastness in devotional service does not take place. Does not take place. So here it is saying, Shatair Badaha, hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger. These desires are like the invisible ropes. Invisible ropes. Because of that, we are absorbed in lust and anger. Instead of Narayana Parayanaha, we are Kama Krodha Parayanaha. We are devoted to Kama and Krodha. What is enjoyment? I want khichdi. I only want khichdi. Nobody else should get it. That is extreme level. The next level is, okay, if somebody has same level of enjoyment, that's fine. I am having khichdi, they are also having khichdi, that's fine. If they are having roti, sabji, dal, puri, then your heart aches. Your heart aches. That is kama and krodha. In Bible, people use this quote, eat, sleep, drink, be merry, before tomorrow we die. Because tomorrow we die. Eat, sleep, drink, be merry, because tomorrow we die. But actually, it is an amalgamation of various phrases taken out of the Bible and conveniently coined to justify everybody's action. It is misunderstood. It is supposed to mean eat thinking about Lord, because He is giving you food. Drink juice, drink water, thinking about the Lord, being grateful to the Lord. Be happy, keep God in the center. Unfortunately, it is misconstrued. Now here, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying, requesting the physician to prolong his life for 4 years more because his plans were not complete. How foolish this is. Devotees understand, Rakhe Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rakhe Ke. If Krishna wants to kill somebody, nobody can save them. Krishna wants to save somebody, nobody can kill them. Nobody can kill them. For devotees, death is just like changing of clothes. A beautiful example is always given. Just like how the cat, the mother cat carries a kitten versus a mother cat carrying a rat. How does the rat feel? It is horrified. That is how non-devotees feel when they die, when they are ready to leave the body. Whereas the devotees feel like they are carried by the mother cat as a kitten in a loving way. That is how the devotees feel. Because they understand Krishna is the controller of everything. Mataha parataram nanyat. There is nothing superior than Krishna. Upadrashta anumanta bharta bhokta. Upadrashta, Krishna is the overseer. Krishna is the permitter. Krishna is the master. Krishna is the enjoyer. Krishna is the Maheshwara, controller. They understand it very well. Krishna is the source of everything. All things are coming from Krishna. Krishna, all things are coming through Krishna. Krishna is the permitter. He is the sanctioner. All things are coming through Krishna. All things are in Krishna. There is nothing beyond Krishna's jurisdiction. So the devotees understand that. Sutre manigana iva. Again, the rope, the theme of rope is coming here. Sutre manigana iva. Just like how the pearls are strung through a thread or a rope, everything is resting upon Krishna. The devotees understand this. So that's why they are not absorbed in lust and anger. So today we are going to see how we can untie these invisible ropes. How we can untie these invisible ropes of desire. So we'll get started. We'll do the pranam prayers. Please follow. Om Ajnana Thimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamarupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the first condition. Prakrite kriyamanani gunahi karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. We foolishly think that we are controlling our lives, but they are controlled by the modes of material nature. Guna is also called as rope. We are like puppets in the hands of the material nature, in the hands of the modes. What are the three modes? Mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Sattva gun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. So the modes are nothing but subtle forces that shape the interaction of our consciousness with matter. I know that is little technical. Let us try to understand this. So how do we interact with this material world is controlled by the modes of nature. So we look around and we have some perception. Based on the perception, we have some emotion. Based on that, we take some action. These are controlled or influenced by the modes of nature. So I'll give you a simple example. There are three people traveling in a bus. One person in mode of goodness, one person in mode of ignorance, one person in mode of passion. They are traveling. On the way, they are seeing a beautiful scenery. The person in the mode of goodness thinks, I wish I am able to go there, sit under a tree, and assimilate the wisdom of this Vedic book, Vedic literature. That's what he is thinking, the mode of goodness person. Mode of passion, what does he think? He thinks, I wish I can go there and sing a Bollywood song and dance with my partner. That's what the mode of passion person is thinking. The mode of ignorance, he thinks, I wish I can go there and have a drink, have a hearty meal and sleep. So this is the influence of the different modes. The modes are predominantly controlled by the karma from your past lives, but not completely. It also is determined by the food you eat, the type of food, the people that you associate with, the friends you have. They say, right? If you tell me the friends you have, I can tell your character. So the friends you have, the books you read, the movies you watch, it is determined by that also. But the nice thing is Krishna is saying, Devhi esha gunamai mama maya duratiyaya maam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite maya dakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam. So these modes are under my control. So if you surrender to me, you can overcome these modes. Lord Shiva says, he confirms this, Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnu yevana samshayaha. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the only giver of liberation. Vishnu is the only giver of liberation. So let us try to understand the power of the ropes of material nature, the ropes of these modes. If you are to compare this invisible rope with the physical rope is visible, right? If somebody is coming to you with a rope trying to tie you, what do? You run away. You try to avoid it. But this rope of attachment is invisible. You don't even know it exists. So you don't try to avoid it. You don't try to avoid it. It is infectious. It is like the COVID virus, the contagious pathogen. So imagine if somebody is sitting next to you with bound by a physical rope. Will you also get bound by that rope? No. But think about this invisible rope of attachment. You're associating with a friend who is having some bad habits, immoral desires. Then what happens? Those habits, those desires will seep into your consciousness and sweep away your consciousness. That is the power of this invisible rope. It is infectious, insidious. It has a self-strengthening mechanism. So the more you are attracted to something, the more you get involved in it. And the more you indulge, the more stronger it becomes. This rope of attachment becomes stronger. And it is inexhaustible. At least the physical rope, after several months or years, it wears off. But this rope of attachment is inexhaustible. So what is the only solution? How do you get out of the bonding of these ropes? The only solution is consistently redirecting our desire to the eternal indwelling Lord, to Sri Krishna. विषयाविनि वर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनां रसवर्जं रसोप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. The higher taste, consistently redirection of our desire towards the higher goal, higher taste, then automatically you can untie the ropes of material nature. Ropes of material nature. There are two other shlokas talking about how this deep well of material nature is so dark, so engulfing, and the only way to get out of this is the rope of devotional service. So repeat after me. Tat sadhu manye suravarya dehinam, tat sadhu manye suravarya dehinam, sada samudvigna dhyama sadgrahat, sada samudvigna dhyama sadgrahat, hitvatmapatam grahamandakupam, vatmapatam grahamandakupam, vanam gato yadharim ashrayata. Beautiful, powerful words spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. So, who would like to read the translation? Any volunteers?
Prahlad Maharaj replied, O best of the asuras, king of the demons, as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen in a dark well where there is no water but only suffering. One should give up this position and go to the forest, Vana. More clearly, one should go to Vrindavana, where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent, and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you, Prabhu. Another beautiful verse from Stavamala by Srila Rupa Goswami. Manasi jafani jushte labdapatosmi dushte. Jafani jushte labdapatosmi dushte. Timiragahana rupe hanta samsara kupe. Ajita nikila raksha hetu mudara daksham. Upanaya mama haste bhakti rajum namaste. Any volunteers from Matajis who can read?
Alas, I have fallen into the deep, dark, filthy well of samsara, in which the viper of sex desires dwells. O invisible Lord, the rope of devotional service is the cause of universal protection and is expert at delivering fallen souls. Please place that rope in my hand. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Thank you, Mataji. The rope of devotional service. So the Lord is waiting for us with the rope of bhakti to pull us out of suffering, and it is up to us to hold it firmly. To hold it firmly. We'll just see another pastime. Does anybody recognize this saint in the picture? Bilva Mangala Thakur. Bilva Mangala Thakur. This is a beautiful story depicting how Maya can be so powerful. Bilva Mangala Thakur, he was born in a Brahmana family, and when he was young, he learned the Vedic principles. He practiced Dharma, but one day his parents passed away. They left this world. He was left alone with a lot of wealth, a lot of property. As you know, if somebody who's young has a lot of wealth, it attracts bad friends. So he got bad company. Through them, he learnt bad habits. One day, it so happened, he went to this program, this dance program, dance of a prostitute named Chintamani. He got so attracted to her, he gave away his heart, his body, his wealth, everything to her. He was always thinking about her, always dreaming about her. One time, it was the death anniversary of his father, and he had to perform the puja and the rites. As he was involved in the ceremony, in his heart and mind, he was just thinking about Chintamani. He wanted to go and see her. So he was rushing the puja. And as soon as it was done, he immediately ran to her house. Actually, he went to the river bank. He had to cross the river to get to her house. The house was on the other side of the river. By Lord's inconceivable plan, that evening, it was late evening, it started raining. There was a heavy downpour, lot of lightning and thunder. So he was asking the boatman, can you take me to the other side? And none of them wanted to risk their lives because the river was flooding. And Bilva Mangala Thakur, he was so desperate to go and see Chintamani. Without second thought, he jumped into the river. There was a decaying dead body floating in the water. He thought it was a wooden plank. It was pitch dark. So he held on to it to cross the river. Finally, he crosses the river and he goes and knocks the door because it was late at night and Chintamani had gone to sleep. She wouldn't come and open the door. So at that time, he sees a rope. He sees a rope near the window. So he holds on to the rope and he climbs up and he enters into the house through the window. He goes there and wakes her up. Chintamani was shocked. What are you doing here? How did you come? He says, I jumped into the water. I held on to the wooden plank. I climbed up the rope and came inside. So at that time, the rain had stopped. So Chintamani wanted to go and see the condition outside. So he or she took a lamp with her. There, she sees the dead body, which he thought as a wooden plank. Then the rope happened to be a snake. Without even realizing, he thought it was a rope and he climbed onto it. So she asked, are you a true Brahmana? Aren't you ashamed of your behavior? Can't you even control the senses for one day? In a few years, I'm going to become the decaying dead body on the river. And you are attracted to this body? If you show this love, fraction of this love to Krishna, then he would have blessed you. You would have gotten spiritual bliss. Instead, you are devoted to me. What a fool you are. Hearing that was a slap on Bilva Mangala Thakur's face. He immediately fell at her feet. You have opened my eyes. You are my guru. So then he started chanting Krishna's name and he left. So this is the power of Maya. Even such an exalted saint like Bilva Mangala Thakur can fall down. So how do we overcome this? Krishna says, "E etamam prapadyante tams tateva bhajamyaham." If you take the first step towards me with conviction, the second C we are going to see, then I will take 10 steps towards you with my compassion. That is the third C. So conviction. So conviction. How many of you are convinced, and please raise your hands, convinced that we are not the body, we are spirit souls? How many of you are convinced that we are part and parcel of Krishna, we belong to Krishna? How many of you are convinced that Krishna is our only everlasting friend? How many of you are convinced that Krishna can only take us out of this suffering. Okay, the class is over. Honestly, please give me your blessings. You're all very advanced, sincerely. So, we should have that conviction. And it's so wonderful that you all have that conviction. This conviction comes only by our sincere desire and associating with like-minded people like you. Like-minded people. That is the only way to develop this conviction. Suppose you are swimming in an ocean against heavy currents. There are gigantic waves. You're struggling. You've become weak. You're struggling to breathe. At that time, if somebody throws a rope from a helicopter and asks you to tie it to your body, and they're saying, as you're swimming, if you experience huge waves, we will pull the rope and then put you down so you can swim easily. Somebody says that, how relieving, how peaceful it will be. Likewise, in this ocean of material existence, we are swimming. There is a family responsibility, challenges at work, society pressure, pressures from the society. So many things we have to face. So this rope of bhakti, holding on to that rope is our faith, is our conviction. If we hold on to the rope, then Krishna will show his compassion, I just want to share a very true story, very interesting, very inspiring story. This happened, I don't know when it happened actually. This happened in Mumbai. In Mumbai, anybody from Mumbai here? Do you know the Breach Candy Hospital there? Breach Candy Hospital, yes, in Mumbai. It's a very popular hospital. Dr. Prasad was a neurosurgeon there. And one time, he was going to be felicitated at an event in Kolkata. He was going to be given a Lifetime Achievement Award for his neurosurgical practice. So he had to take a flight in the afternoon. He was planning to take a flight from Mumbai to Kolkata. So he boards the flight, and after takeoff, within 30 minutes or so, the plane developed mechanical problems, which is, of course, common nowadays. It has become common. It developed mechanical problems. So the pilot had to forcefully land the plane in Jamshedpur, Orissa. So then Dr. Prasad, he really wanted to reach Kolkata that night. So he decides to take a taxi. So the travel from, does anybody know from Jamshedpur to Kolkata? I think it's a 4-hour drive, 4 to 5 hours drive. 4 to 5 hours drive. So he decides to take a taxi. Again, the inconceivable plan of the Lord. It started raining. Somehow, the taxi driver managed to go for a couple of hours. And after that, the taxi started having some engine problems. So he had to stop the taxi on the side of the road. And he opened the hood and he was trying to figure out what's going on. Now, Dr. Prasad, he really wanted to go to Kolkata that night. So he thought, this was before the cell phone era, so he didn't have a phone. He thought he will find some home and borrow their phone to make a call to get another taxi. That's what he was thinking. So he goes, he finds a home, he goes and rings the doorbell. It was a poor family. The woman, the lady opens the door and he or she welcomes him. And being so poor, they did not have a phone. But she nicely welcomes him and offers him tea and biscuit, the evening snack. After that, after like few minutes, Dr. Prasad notices that this family is getting ready for their late evening prayers and bhajans before going to bed. Dr. Prasad was an atheist. And this family wanted to share their experience. So the lady was saying, we have 2 cows, Ganga and Gauri, and they graze and give us milk. See, look at this creation of God. A cow is eating grass and giving milk. Who else can do this other than God? Dr. Prasad was not convinced. Dr. Prasad was not convinced. Then she says, look at the rain pouring outside. The water from Bay of Bengal is going up and becomes rain clouds and comes down as rain. Look at the magic of God. Dr. Prasad gave a gentle smile. He didn't believe that. And he was thinking to himself, these people don't understand the law of physics. They don't understand the natural phenomenon. The discussion continued. At that time, Dr. Prasad notices their son. He was behaving weirdly. He asks the dad, what is going on with him? The dad says, he has been having this epileptic seizures for the last several years. We talked to several doctors here. They said, okay, go to Jamshedpur and see an experienced surgeon there. So we went to Jamshedpur. They said, to cure your boy, we have to perform chelactotomy operation, which involves opening the brain into like 2 hemispheres, left and right hemisphere. You split open and you perform the operation. And the only doctor in India who can do this surgery is Dr. Prasad, who lives in Mumbai. So I told this to my wife. My wife said, we are too poor to go to Mumbai and spend so much money for the treatment. So I'm going to leave this problem to the lotus feet of Krishna. If he desires, the solution will come and knock on our door. If he desires, the solution will come and knock on our door. Dr. Prasad was shocked. What is this? And he was trying to connect the dots. Connect the dots with the rope of Krishna's mercy. Connect the dots with the rope of Krishna's mercy. I took the flight. The flight had problems. It had to forcefully land in Jamshedpur. Then I take a taxi. The taxi experienced engine problems. It stopped. And of all the houses, and I had to go and knock on this door. So what is this? This is that lady's true faith and Krishna's reciprocation. This is a real story. It happened. And Dr. Prasad couldn't believe it. This is the magic of Krishna. Now, during times of trouble, in one sense, it is somewhat easy to believe God, go to the temple and pray God. But is it sustainable? Is devotion during times of troubles, during times of tribulations, is it sustainable? No, think about it. If there is a problem, if it is resolved, of course, before the problem gets resolved, you pray to the Lord, my dear Lord, I'm having this problem, please solve it. If it is resolved, you're happy, you thank God for some time, but then you forget. Once you go into a trouble-free phase of your life, you forget God. If the problem is not solved, then you hate God. Why do I need Krishna if he is not solving the problem? And if your devotion is based on emotions, think about it. Today I'm feeling good. I'm wearing a nice tilak, wearing nice clothes. Everybody is appreciating me. So the deities are today looking beautiful. If you are feeling good, then the devotion is also good. But imagine the next week, there is another devotee. Everybody is glorifying the other devotee. Nobody even looks at you. Will you feel the same emotion, same devotion to Lord? No. No, I want to go home. Today I'm feeling miserable. People are ignoring me. So that's why the devotion has to be based on conviction. Conviction in the words of the Shastra, that Krishna is the only savior. He is the only eternal loving friend. Conviction. Conviction is very important. Now, I'll take another 10 to 15 minutes and we can wrap up. Conviction, okay, all this is all good. All I'm hearing is nice in theory. But in my life, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. There are family responsibilities. I have to go to work. I have to take care of my children, get them admitted into nice schools and so forth. So many responsibilities. I don't have time. But what do they say, people who are working? What do you hear often at work? Step out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone. We all try to avoid inconveniences, right? Does anybody want inconveniences in life? No. Do we go and stay in discomfort in or comfort in? Imagine a hotel chain that says discomfort in. Do we go and stay? No. We want to be comfortable. Everything around us, the gadgets we get, the things we buy, the clothes we get, the friends we have, nowadays everything can be achieved through just a swipe on your cell phone. So everything is to make you feel comfortable. That becomes the way we measure success in our life. Do I have all the comforts in the life? Do I have a nice car, nice house, nice phone, everything? Then I am comfortable. But if you look around and go and talk to somebody who is very successful and who is inspiring you, if you go and ask this question, what is the definition of success? What made you successful? One common answer you will get is, they will say, at every moment we have two options in life. One is the comfortable path, the other option is the uncomfortable path. And we always take the uncomfortable path. And if you ask them the reason why, they will say, to learn what I want to learn, to do what I want to do, to change the world the way I want to, I have to take the path of maximum discomfort. I have to take the path of maximum discomfort. I'll share a couple of stories, quick stories. One time, a king was gifted 2 falcons. And the king gives the falcons to the minister and says, you train them to fly. The minister hires a trainer and he trains. And the trainer comes back after a few days and he says, my dear king, I'm able to make one of the falcons fly, and the other falcon, no matter what I do, it is not flying at all. The king was disappointed. So he calls all the experts in the kingdom to see if they can make the second falcon fly. Nobody could help. The king thinks, okay, we should find some expert, somebody who is expert in nature and dealing with animals and birds. We should call him. So they find a farmer who is well versed in this. And they give him the job. And within a couple of days, the king was delighted to see that falcon flying high above the palace gardens. The king immediately calls the farmer, what did you do? He says, my dear king, I just cut off the branch where the falcon was sitting. I just cut off the branch. So likewise, we are holding on to so many branches. Think about it. We are holding on to our comfort zones. If only we cut off those branches, we can fly. There are so many capabilities and abilities in us remaining undiscovered because we want to stay within our comfort zone. Because of that, our life has become mediocre. Instead of being exciting, thrilling, and fulfilling, it has remained mediocre because we want to cling on to the comfort zones. Another story involving rope. One time, a person was taking his 3 donkeys to a marketplace. And he wanted to take rest, but one problem he had was he only had 2 ropes. There were 3 donkeys, he only had 2 ropes. He wanted to tie the donkeys to a tree and then go and take a dip in the water. So he sees a wise man coming that way. He goes and asks him, "My dear sir, this is my problem." And he gives a nice solution. You take the 2 ropes, tie the 2 donkeys, make sure the 3rd donkey is watching, and then pretend to tie the 3rd donkey. And then leave it like that. So he does that and then goes to the river, takes bath and comes back. To his surprise, all the donkeys were there, including the 3rd donkey. Then it was time to go. He unties the 2 donkeys and the 3rd donkey, he just pats on the body. Let's move. After a couple of minutes, the 3rd donkey was still there. It hadn't moved. And he was surprised. How come this was not tied? But why is it not moving? And he sees that wise man again. Thankfully, he was still there. The wise man tells, "Did you untie the 3rd donkey?" "Untie? I didn't even tie the donkey in the first place." "That you know, the donkey doesn't know. So go and pretend to untie." So he goes there and pretends to untie. Then the donkey moves. Because all the while, it was thinking that it was tied by this imaginary rope. Likewise, we are all tied by imaginary ropes of doubt, fear, hesitation. Only if we untie these ropes, they talk about this in our corporate world. The same thing applies, same principles apply for spiritual life also. Let us get out of the comfort zone. Comfort zone. Now, sometimes it is slightly easy, somewhat easy, if things are going in a positive direction. You may be able to get out of the comfort zone. But what if there are obstacles in life? His Grace Amarendra Prabhu says, that's when the practical application of philosophy comes into picture. The application and realization of your faith. Otherwise, we are only PhDs here. We are kindergarten at heart. Because when life throws challenges, it is the heart that reacts, not the mind. So this knowledge, this faith has to be practically followed and implemented, not just learning theoretically. When Krishna jumped into the river Yamuna, Kaliya came out. Likewise, when Krishna jumps into our life, into the sweet water pond of our life, through different circumstances, sometimes the circumstances may be good, sometimes the circumstances may be bad. Do we want to have our Kaliya come out? No. Well, that's what normally happens. Our anger, right? But instead, it should create ripples of ecstasy in the pond of our consciousness. We can keep saying rice, roti, dal, sabji. We can learn about the nutritional values. But until we eat it, we won't get nourished. Until we apply the principles, apply this faith, this conviction in our day-to-day life, we cannot make progress. The last C, which is compassion, we all celebrated here in Round Rock, the beautiful festival of Lord Jagannath Ratha Yatra. We pulled the chariot into, actually it signifies pulling of the chariot into our hearts. Devotees pulled the chariot, pulled Krishna into their hearts. If our heart is like Vrindavan, then Krishna will come running. Normally, if we are sick, what do? We go to the doctor. But if we are so sick, we can't even step out of the home, the doctor comes to us, right? Isn't it? Likewise, if we cannot go to the temple, Lord Jagannath comes out to see us. That is the beauty. That is the magnanimity of Lord Jagannath. Now, why does Lord Jagannath have big eyes? Does anybody know? He wants to see everyone all the time.
So he can see the smallest of the positive things.
Exactly. His eyes are like binoculars. So he can see even the tiniest good quality in somebody. And he can magnify it. He can magnify it. He does not have eyelashes. Why? He doesn't want to sleep at all. He wants to always see the devotees and give his mercy, kripa drishti. He wants to give his mercy all the time. Why does he not have full hands? Or why does he not show the Abhaya Mudra? Abhaya Mudra. Because he wants to hug the devotees, open arms, welcome the devotees all the time. That is Jagannath. If you experience setbacks in your life, understand they are setups of Lord Jagannath to refine you. Setbacks are setups. If you are experiencing a difficult situation, don't ask Jagannath, please change the situation. Because Jagannath is trying to use the situation to change you. Don't ask Jagannath to change the situation. Don't try to change the situation to become happy. Instead, you become happy and change the situation. And attract the compassion of Lord Jagannath. Beautiful story of Putana. Putana came to kill Krishna. Bhagavatam says, just like how an unintelligent person thinks a snake to be a rope and puts that snake on the lap, likewise Putana put Krishna on her lap, thinking a snake to be a rope. And Krishna was closing his eyes. When he was lying on Putana's lap, he had his eyes closed. And Acharyas give two reasons. Why? Because Krishna, this is the first demon Krishna is going to kill. And it was a woman. He didn't want to do that. So he had closed his eyes. And also he wanted to boost the confidence of Putana. Boost the confidence of Putana. So Putana feeds Krishna. And as Krishna was sucking the milk, he sucked her life air. And Putana was in excruciating pain. She couldn't tolerate it. Shastras say, when the soul is about to leave the body, it is very, very painful. How many scorpions? It is compared to like 40,000 scorpions biting at the same time. It is very, very painful. First, your senses stop working. Your intelligence goes away. Then, finally, the soul goes through one of the 9 gates. It is said, if it goes through the gates in the upper part of the body, then you attain higher birth. If it goes through the lower part of the body, any of the holes in the lower part of the body, then you go to hellish planets. So Putana was in terrible pain. Finally, she falls down. And the Vrajavasis start cutting the body of Putana because it was like miles long. They had to cut the body. And at that time, nice fragrance, agarbatti smell, incense smell was coming from the body. Normally, from a dead body, you experience some foul smell. But beautiful fragrance was coming. Mangalanam mangalam yo, pavitranam pavitram yo, mangalanam cha mangalam. Because it was touched by the lips of Krishna, her body, it was giving very nice fragrance. Acharyas say, Krishna takes, just like Sakshi Gauranga Prabhu was saying, Krishna uses his eyes to magnify even the tiniest quality of a devotee. So Putana, just because she came dressed as a mother, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Kutam. Dhatri Uchitam. He gave the position of nurse in the spiritual world to Putana. Because she came dressed as a mother. If Krishna can do this for Putana, what will he do for the devotees who are constantly chanting his holy name? He just finds an excuse, simple excuse to give his mercy. It is said, even the most perfect, most complete friendship relationship in this world cannot be compared, is incomparable to even the transient, imperfect relationship with Krishna. The imperfect, the temporary relationship, we are struggling in our chanting, we are struggling to go to the temple and do seva, and that is still okay than the most perfect, complete family relationship, friendship, and so forth. I just end with a few points. These are very important points spoken by our dear His Grace Amarendra Prabhu. I just thought it would be very useful for all of us to meditate on these thoughts. Now, compassion of the Lord. It is easy to see the compassion when during some somewhat peaceful situation. But what about we pray to Krishna for curing a disease. Let's say if the disease is not cured. How do we understand that? How do we understand that? How do we still pray to the Lord? Have that devotion for the Lord. His Grace Amarendra Prabhu gives a beautiful example. Just like you go to a martial arts teacher, and the martial arts teacher is, as part of the teaching, he is kicking you, he is punching you, he is slamming you down. Are you going to hate the teacher? I came here to learn something. I thought he will be kind to me, but he is kicking me. No, because he is your teacher and he wants you to learn the art of defense, proper defense. He wants you to become stronger. That is Krishna's mercy. Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. Krishna is the martial arts teacher for the whole universe. Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. So we have to see Krishna's hand in everything. Another beautiful example. We must all have experienced this in our childhood. We run to our father for an embrace. What does the father do? He lifts us and throws us high. The first time this happens, the child is very scared, fearful. What is my father doing? I came for a hug and he's just throwing me. He doesn't love me, he hates me or what? But then, when the child goes high and then comes back, sees dad's hand ready to hold him safely, then he's relieved. And then he wants the dad to do it again and again. Even the dad is tired, but the child says, Dad, please lift me and throw me up. Because when the child goes up, when coming down, the child sees dad's eyes, dad's hands. The child is so happy and relieved. My dad is going to protect me. And that's what Queen Kunti does. Give me more and more problems because I can see you. When I'm going through the problems, I can see you and you are there to hold me. That's what Queen Kunti is praying. His Grace Ayendra Prabhu would say this example. When you throw a bone to a dog, what does the dog do? It looks at the bone. Is it a small bone, big bone? It looks at it, analyzes the bone. Whereas when you throw a bone to a lion, what does it do? It briefly looks at the bone, but then looks at who threw the bone. Likewise, there will be challenging situations, small situations, big situations in life. So we have to see the master who is giving that and the reason he is giving that. How many of you have played Antakshari? Pretty much all of us, right? Can anybody describe how it is played? You start with a syllable, and then you sing a song, and then what happens? You stop the song, and then whoever is the next will sing with the last syllable. Now, in the game, when that is happening, will you say, oh, I don't want this syllable, can you change it? No, right? So likewise, there will be so many syllables in our life. So many syllables. And our duty, our job is to use that syllable and glorify, sing the praise of Krishna. Whatever syllable, whatever situation we get, we use that syllable to sing the glories of Krishna. Another example, Amarendra Prabhu was sharing. He was eating prasadam with one of his friends. At that time, his friend accidentally bit his tongue. And the friend was saying, Prabhu, whom should I blame? Should I blame my tongue or the teeth that bit the tongue? Because the teeth bit the tongue, but the tongue also, it only came in the way. So I don't know which one to blame. But then he was describing, but they belong to my mouth, both of them. So likewise, in our situation, we may get problems from our spouse, from our friends and all. But they all belong to Krishna's mouth of compassion. Krishna will not take sides, because they all belong to the mouth of Krishna's compassion. And he expanded the example. The mouth can be compared to Lanka. And the teeth are the demons in Lanka. And the tongue is Vibhishan. The demons are biting the consciousness of Vibhishan. Did the tongue run out of the mouth? Did the tongue lose its softness? That was Vibhishan. Bhagavatam says, Traskrita Vipralabdha Shapta Shipta Hata Api. The devotees of the Lord may be cheated, they may be cursed, they may be defeated, they may be even killed. They will not retaliate because they see the underlying hand of Krishna. And because of this, when the rasa, the mercy of Krishna comes, it is only the tongue, not the teeth, that gets to taste it. It is only the tongue that gets to taste the rasa, the juice, not the teeth. So, devotees always see Krishna's underlying hand in everything. And how do we practically do it? We are sending love letters to Krishna. This is the love between Krishna and us. So we need, for a letter, what do we need? We need the envelope and also the inside content. So the inside content, the letter is the devotional spirit. And the envelope is like the practice, chanting, the process of devotional service. So we need both the envelope and the content. Just like when you see a mango, what do you think? Do you think of the reflection of the mango? No. You think about the sweetness of the mango. Similarly, when you see a reflection of the mango, what do you think? Immediately you think of the mango. You see the reflection and think of the mango. So this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. When you see this material world, you should think of the spiritual world. This is just a reflection. I have to see the spiritual world. I have to think about the spiritual world. The material world, things happening in the material world, are to remind us of the spiritual world. One last example and then I'll finish. Imagine there is a worker in a construction zone. And the engineer is trying to get the attention of this worker. The engineer is standing somewhere in the top floor and he wants to call out this worker. He calls a couple of times and it was so noisy environment, construction site. So the worker couldn't hear. So what does he do? He takes a small pebble and throws and hits the helmet bump and then he lifts his head. Oh, you're calling me? And that's what Krishna does. He wants our attention. You are becoming so comfortable, enjoying, but wait, this is not going to last forever. Adi antavanta konteya. Every material happiness has a beginning and end. So this will end. And janma mrityu jara vyadi. You will die, you will get disease. So this is not going to last forever. So pay attention to me. Just like the engineer is throwing the pebble, Krishna is giving us some small problem so that we will look up to him. We all know the Shakatashur pastime. Krishna was lying in the cart. A cart demon, Shakatashur. And Krishna was crying to get Mother Yashoda's attention because there was a lot of festivities going on. Nobody could hear him. So Krishna kicks the cart. Of course, the demon gets killed too, but the main purpose was to get the attention of Mother Yashoda. Likewise, Krishna is always trying to get our attention. So, by thinking about all these points we talked about, given by great Vaishnavas, personalities, senior devotees, let us meditate. We will think about these 3 C's: conditioning, conviction, compassion. So by our practice of faith, practical application of faith, we will attract the compassion of the Lord so that we are able to overcome the condition. So with that, I'll end it here. Sorry, we went past by like 10 minutes. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you. We have a couple of minutes if you want to share any comments, or there is time for one question if anybody has, or anybody wants to share your realization, please do so as we are getting ready for Aarati. Yes.
So, Prabhuji, regarding your last comment about the disease, the answer is very simple that you are not the body.
Yes.
Because we identify ourselves as a body and we think that I am diseased, but Atma never gets diseased. And secondly, if you believe in reincarnation, and so then you are kind and loving person, then most probably you are guaranteed to get a good body in the next life. So you always have to disease later on mentioned that this is a matter of time that you are diseased, even if it's life-threatening, but it is always but Krishna is always merciful.
Yes. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for sharing that point. Yes, that is the first step in that journey of faith. First step, understanding that we are not the body, we are spirit souls. And there is no death for the soul. There is no death for the soul. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Gopal Chandra, for a very beautiful class. Let's have a big round of applause for him. So the next part of the program is we'll have Aarti. We'll have Aarti Kirtan. I request everyone to rise. And after that, we'll have some announcements and then some lunch to everyone.